Here in the audience.
That's the Yeehaw! Woohoo!
It's today the LA School of Comedy's contest. Who can do the best a cappella comedy show? No applause.
Acapella.
Anyhow, here we are on the eve of the great election, and I understand, very importantly, that liquor sales went up tremendously in Washington, D.C., but bar attendance went down. Does that mean that they're all home drinking already? What do they know that we don't know? Now, considering the fact that 95% of the people in Washington, D.C. are going to vote for Kamala Harris, they may know something we don't know. So this is the time when it tries men's souls, but the best part about it is watching. I'm fascinated by watching all the closing arguments, but what really gets to me is the news. How much of the same pointing at their little magic screens can they do when the statistics haven't changed one whit? That dial hasn't changed a bit. But Joe Rogan did come out with his endorsement today, influenced, of course, by Elon Musk. They've developed a tremendous bromance. And as did a bunch of other people, it's like the late time endorsement saying, "Don't leave me off the bus." You can guess who they're endorsing, but it's "Don't leave me off the bus." So I don't have much to say today. I can tell jokes, but I'm not that funny. I'm just filling in for my wife, make sure her show goes on. And I think what we're going to do is we're now going to bring up Aaron. Now, Aaron's an interesting fellow. Not that I want to give him too long an introduction. But he is getting ready for his one-person act here, which is the Film Actors Cafe. Aaron will be delivering special one-on-one. Make your reservations now. What we call it, Aaron? A open house for the Film Actors Cafe here in December. Make sure you all, call in your RSVPs, because we're going to get to see a truly groundbreaking program of teaching you how to act in front of a camera. Yeah, okay. He's the new Lee Strasberg and whoever the wife was, built them together. On that note, Aaron.
Yeah, baby, come on!
That was good, that was good. Excellent, thank you. Hey everybody, Aaron McIntyre. Yeah, we got this workshop December 8th. It starts at 4:30 for young adults who are 10 to 17. No one younger than 10 unless they're incredibly special. And then at 7 o'clock we're going to bring in the adults. So the adults will be from 7 to 10. But, as Mark said, as you know, we are on the eve of the most consequential election of our time. That's what everybody keeps saying, the most consequential election of our time. And in honor of that, I put together a little song, but I'm going to need some audience participation.
I said no audience participation. It's a cappella.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Those are the rules.
Well, then I'll do. So it's did. That's all you gotta know. Did. There you go. So Kamala, Kamala. I know it sounds a little bit strange, but Kamala, Kamala, will get a sex change. I think that would be good. I think that wouldn't that blow everybody away if like Kamala came into office and she decided to have a sex change, become a man, so nobody could do the whole thing about she's a woman, because she wouldn't be a woman then. She'd be a trans man, right?
Yeah.
Is that what she'd be? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apropos of nothing. But I thought it might be interesting, because especially like if her husband came out as gay, then it would work, right? But it would be a big surprise. As you know, as you can tell, I am a bald white man, and I've been getting kind of a little ticked off at some of the people now with the top knots. They got the top knots on their head, and then they got the side of their head shaved and the back of their head shaved and all that. It's like, is that just a fuck you to people who can't grow hair on the top of their head? I can grow it here, but I can pull it off. Just seemed like a really kind of mean thing to do. There were a lot, you know, I mean, bald guys used to be pretty hot commodity. You know, Yul Brynner, right? Who else? Telly Savalas, right? Jean-Luc Picard. No, actually, Jean-Luc. No, he, because he hasn't been born yet, right? Because the Federation isn't around. It's not Jean-Luc Picard. It's what's his name?
Stewart.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart. Yeah. So they say, you know, I've heard that there are a lot of people, a lot of women like bald guys. You know, and I've heard that, and I'm still looking for them because can't find them anywhere. They're nowhere to be seen. Oh, Mr. Clean. I forgot about Mr. Clean. If I take off my glasses and I put an earring in, I you know, shave off the beard. Actually, the beard is the new campaign. It's for the pine scented Mr. Clean, so that the women, you know, don't feel like they're mopping the floor with formaldehyde. They're actually, you know, fucking a lumberjack, right? So that's kind of the idea. Because that's, you know, that's what people who are mopping floors are doing. They're just dreaming about the guy on the bottle. I've been trying to think of ways to drive without killing people. I have actually this thing. I was driving around one day, and a lot of times I'll do my comedy material, and I'll just put it in text, and then I'll just hit the little microphone, and I'll speak into the thing. So I had this thing I was writing, and here's what it is. I have to read it verbatim. It's amazing to me that there are as many people on the road and more people are not getting killed because motherfucking son of a bitch, you fucking asshole. So that tells you where I was in the middle of the car. I had to take out my aggression. I got a lot of aggression. I got a lot of anger, you know, from early childhood trauma, as we all do. Developed quite a few little mental disorders. Been through more therapy than pretty much anybody. I've been in therapy for about 47 years, and I think it's working. You know, I'm here. I'm standing here. But the people who are driving like idiots just driving. I don't know about any of you, but I just can't stand these people who are driving around acting like idiots. You know, they're driving along, especially driving up the 5. You know, you've got people who are crawling behind the truck, and then as soon as you come up behind them, they go right next to the truck, and then they drive the same speed as the truck. And if, you know, no disrespect to anyone out there, if you're one of these people, fuck you. That's all I got to say. Because that's just, you know, it's just not right. It says, slower traffic, keep right. There was a bunch of places where they had signs that actually said, keep right except to pass. That's better. Still doesn't work though. People don't follow the rules of the road. But it is kind of amazing the millions and millions of people who are driving around and there's not more deaths, you know, not more accidents. We all trust other people to stay in their lane, to use their blinker, which, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but BMW, they've removed all the blinkers in their new line of cars. Yeah, because they figured out that, you know, BMW drivers don't use their blinkers anyway, so what the fuck, why would you want to have one, right? They just get in the way, you know, it's right there, you know, sometimes you bump your hand on it and then it goes off and people think you're turning left and you're not, and then they start honking at you, and, you know, so I can understand that. Anyway, I think I got the red light a little while ago. I think I'm getting close, so I'm going to give it back to Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Happy, Mr. Jolly. Marcus Afron.
Give it to it. Give it up. Give it up.
Mr. Warren.
by the way, that's coming from a man, I just did the math here, 47 years of therapy. This man spent over $260,000. That could be better used elsewhere. I mean, he's no better off than he was 47 years ago.
I'm not.
He's not. I mean, therapy just doesn't work. Take my word for it, it doesn't work. Therapists are just another crazy person sitting and listening to another crazy person. It's not The Sopranos. You don't get Lorraine Bracco when she looked good.
Oh, I've had some hot therapists.
I bet you've had quite a few therapists.
Oh.
But of course, the bottom line is it's $250,000.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like flushing $100 bills down the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
That's
Think
guaranteed.
about it. But I just have one word to say about Mr. Clean before we bring up our headliner. All right. So here's the bottom line about Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean is cultural appropriation. You realize, of course, Mr. Clean used to have an earring, and everybody thought he was a genie, and they came out and they said he was a genie. Really? The truth is, Mr. Clean, is coming out not with an odor of he's a genie, of Mr. Clean, of cleaning supplies, more like an odor of explosives. I mean, at the end of the day, they're gonna blow, Procter and Gamble up one day once they realize that they culturally appropriated their genies. That's a big thing, cultural appropriation. And to your point about Kamala Harris, how do you know she's not a trans person at this point?
Good question.
It's she claims to be a mother, has no kids. The husband looks a little off, likes to slap women around, that they've expressed that for years. His daughter is a self-hating Jew, so you don't know what to say about that. But in the end of the day, here's the bottom line. The trans movement is homophobic. It's as simple as that. This is the trans movement as I see it. Okay? Traditional gay men are considered to be wrong. And the solution to gayness, according to the transphobe movement, is if a guy comes out as gay at a young age, he starts prancing around his sister's clothes, or whatever it is they use at 3 years old to determine that some kid is absolutely going to turn gay, they just fill him full of pills, and they cut his dick off. Do you know what that is? The ultimate form of homophobia. They can't just let this happy-go-lucky child go out and design clothes. Can't do hair. Not allowed to do any of the traditional things. He has to become a woman. So there's no gay man anymore. When they're finished, every gay man will be turned into a trans woman. And I suppose the converse works with trans men. Though I did see one the other day that defied all description. She was attacking, I think it was Ben Shapiro or Douglas Murray, on a video I saw, wouldn't get him a word in edgewise. But she was very aggressive. It looked like she should be driving a tow truck. Or he, whoever it was. You see, I get confused. All right? I'm supposed to get confused. All right? I didn't grow up with this. All right? It's difficult for us. Anyhow, on that note, we're going to bring up the man of the hour.
Yeah.
Himself.
I would be he and he would be
Patty.
Hey,
Patty.
Give it up for Patty.
Patty, Patty, Patty. Oh yes, we are all here, the few and the proud. This is not so much a stand-up comedy open mic as an intervention.
For Aaron.
It's an intervention of Aaron. God damn it, give it up for Aaron! Come on, you motherfucker. It's Aaron and the what I like to call the Mr. Clean crossover thing. Is that Mr. Clean really has been a sex symbol. In terms of mascots, commercial mascots for products, probably the sexiest one that ever lived. The earring, the whole thing, and the thing you talked about, Mr. Clean's beard, and as we all know, Mr. Clean's beard was Mrs. Butterworth. They carried on a faux relationship. Mrs. Butterworth still has her job. I don't know if you know that. But Aunt Jemima, they took her job away for some reason. I hadn't figured it out.
Racism.
Racism of some sort. But
Do-rag.
the truth is, Mr. Clean finally came out. He's had a relationship with the brawny lumberjack now for many years. And I say, bring it out into the sunshine. Bring it out. Let's talk about it, shall we? I think there's lots of things to talk about, but why don't we talk about the obvious elephant in the room? And that, of course, is Peanut the squirrel. Are you familiar with the fate of Peanut the squirrel?
No.
Peanut the squirrel is an example of government overreach. Let me say something. Peanut the squirrel, many of you don't know, but Peanut the squirrel was a squirrel that had a social media following of over 1 million. A man in upstate New York was running an animal sanctuary with his wife, and 7 years ago he found an orphan squirrel, raised that squirrel as his own, and that squirrel was on social media a star. Water skiing, he could roller skate, and he smoked cigars. He was beloved, this squirrel. And some of the government factions in New York State decided, for some reason, that this squirrel had to be confiscated. Now, let me explain something to you. The government doesn't give a shit about unhoused squirrels. There's lots of unhoused squirrels, and they're left, much like our own unhoused people, like they're an endangered species in their natural fucking habitat. Leave them alone. But this man with this squirrel that raised lots of money, they came in, they confiscated the squirrel, and for some reason a raccoon that he had there, a raccoon that was kind of an asshole. Nobody's mad about the raccoon. Nobody liked him. He didn't have that many followers. But Peanut was confiscated along with said raccoon, and 2 days later euthanized.
What the fuck?
They fucking killed Peanut the squirrel, who was the breadwinner for the animal rescue. He made all the money. You don't understand the level. Anybody out there listening that's at all, you build a social media, fucking over 1 million followers on social media was taken away and executed by the government. A government that, again, leaves squirrels alone that are out and about and don't have a home. So, in protest, and let me tell you something, this is happening. It's happening right now. A orca whale in San Antonio, Texas, named Selena, during a live performance, whale sharded, jumped up in the air and splashed the fecal water across all the spectators, and I say rightfully fucking so. Because the same government that said Peanut the squirrel had to be confiscated and executed condones orca whales living in swimming pools their entire fucking life. This is just another example of the government getting it wrong. Wrong. We can't let them. They're the problem. They talk. The deep state. What is going on here? As someone who recently turned 61, and actually on my way over here, I had 3 pupusas and 2 cups of coffee. I'm in the shark demographic. I could go off at any fucking moment. You know what I'm trying to say? As far as Kamala Harris and the sex change operation going, first of all, let's get a round of applause going for the LGBTQIA people. Isn't it lovely that we live in a time where you can be who you want to be and love who you want to love? And while we're applauding all those LBGTQs and Is, let's have a round of applause for the H's, for the heterosexuals that made all those other letters possible. Where will the LGBTQIAs of the future come from if the heterosexuals stop doing their thing? You know what I mean?
Test tubes.
Like, I think it was Sexy Red, American hip-hop diva, who said, "My pussy pink, my booty hole brown." Have truer words not been spoken? The bonus hole, remember the bonus hole was out last year. The bonus hole is a slap in the vagina to all factory-installed pussy. A slap into the beginnings of all of us, because where would we be? Now, that's just my preference. I prefer factory-installed pussy. Always have, and I don't think we'd be anywhere without it. It's the only way I know of to fucking get here. So I'm glad the bonus hole thing didn't take off, as it were. It's odd. There's also we're at 783 dildos confiscated from P. Diddy. P. Diddy, yeah. 30, that's a lot of dildos. You know, you probably had some, like, could you imagine being the FBI officer that's on the low end of the totem pole? Like you're new on the job, and they're taking inventory at Diddy's mansion, and your job, of course, would be to count the dildos. You know, like 779, 780, 781. Hey, Kennedy, we're getting some Subway sandwiches. What do you want? You want a pastrami? Yeah, I'll have a pastrami. Oh, shit. 1, 2, 3. There must have been some specialty dildos in there, too. Like, hey, why don't you fetch me my strap-on pumpkin spice dildo? Because, of course, in the Tunney house, my house, of course, it is the time of year for seasonal pancakes and pumpkin spice Cialis. It's that time of year, again, we're having fun. I like to think that my penis has no political affiliation. Like, I'll give you an example. I was in a punk rock band called Static Cling in the 80s. Some of you might have heard of us, but we used to open for a band called the Violent Femmes, who were very well known.
Yeah.
Now, we had opened, and I was hanging around backstage, and I met a gal, I mean, blonde hair, big boobs, beautiful girl, and one thing led to another, and behind the stage curtain, we actually started to go at it. I'm talking about, you know, the sweet, make it sweet, sweet love, right there. And as the curtain was swinging, I looked down, and I saw a swastika tattooed above her hoo-ha. Now, I felt bad because it did feel so good.
Oh my Lord.
And I like to kind of think of it as a hate crime that had a happy ending. But my point is this. My penis has no ideology. My penis is merely a heat-seeking moisture missile. Okay? I banged a girl with a Confederate flag on her left boob. Okay? You know what I mean? But from behind, I'm not a racist. Also, I will say this. I've never told anybody this, but I will tell you this. One time, I was down in Tennessee, and I met a really hot Klan girl.
Oh,
She was fucking hot. Classy, you know, Egyptian cotton sheets. High thread count. Okay? And I didn't fuck her. I made sweet, sweet anti-racist love to her on my Barack Obama Hope and Change bedspread. And I'm not going to say that my penis had some effect on her, but I will say I saw her 2 years later and she was only dating black guys. So, actually ran into her recently. She had gotten big. She said she just wanted to lose enough weight so white guys would want to fuck her again. So, what I'm trying to say is, again, my penis is merely a heat-seeking moisture missile that knows. Now, how much time do you have me at when you just let me?
It depends if you limp or not.
7:23.
Really, 17? Time flies when there's just 3 of us here, isn't it? Or 4 of us, pardon me, John. But 4
It's all
of us.
good. It's all good.
But we live in strange times. I think back to my youth. I did have a girlfriend who had a dildo she nicknamed Thor. Which, you ever notice it's not weird if you're into it? You know what I mean? I think it was Lena Dunham, American writer and actress, who said everything's a dildo if you're brave enough. And indeed it is. Indeed it is. This is, I don't quite know how to describe the experience I'm having up here. It mirrors something. I don't know if it's public humiliation or I'm not exactly sure what it is. One thing I can tell you is, and look, I don't mean to speak ill of the dead. I never met Hitler. He's not here to defend himself. But I think I can go ahead and go out on a limb and say, not a great guy. Not a real good guy. You know what I mean? Not funny. But all the best comedy writers in Germany were otherwise engaged at the time. And I don't like this description of Donald Trump as Hitler, you know, like I guess he was speaking at a swastika pancake breakfast earlier today. He doesn't like it either. But it's not right, these distinctions to Hitler. You know, if anything, he's more of a Mussolini guy. You know what I mean? He seems more like a Mussolini with it. He's kind of a combination. He's equal parts Mussolini and bloated Ryan Seacrest. I think this is him. I have to tell you, I don't know if you guys have the same feeling I've had, but I've been underwhelmed by this entire experience. You?
Mm.
You? You?
Mm.
Well, as you guys know, this is National Math Week. So with your permission, I would like to end my set with a math joke. May I?
Yes.
You have my permission.
I thank you, John. Once again, give it up for John. He's over there in the corner.
Thank you.
My dick is not very long, but what it lacks in length, it makes up for in circumference. Mathematically, my dick is pi. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been fantastic. I want to bring back to the stage a man who exudes warmth and loveliness. Let's give it up for the man who makes all this possible, Mark Saffron, shall we?
Yeah.
Mark.
Now that I've been regaled with tales, I feel like Albert was back. Somebody up on his stage talking about his less than adequate butts. But Albert used to make it like his was that
That's
big.
actually how Kamala's husband has been described.
He is a putz. He is a less than adequate putz. There's no question about it. Yeah, I understand he used to be a good entertainment lawyer, but that's an oxymoron. Entertainment lawyers make money on percentage. What they need to do is hit once. It's just, you know, the odds. You don't need any talent to be an entertainment lawyer. That being said, of course, I just want to raise a couple of issues raised by Patty's wonderful oration. We give him a round of applause. But, you see, I have a different theory about the dildos. What I believe is that in order to get into a freaky party, you had to surrender to P. Diddy's love of taking plastic casts of other men's penises. And every one of those dildos was a custom-made penis of a celebrity. Now, if you think about it and you go there and you start measuring, if he put names on them, there could be a lot of embarrassed people with tiny appendages. All right? Especially, you know, some of the rappers, if people find out that they're less than adequately supplied. And on that note, of course, which, you know, is one of those things, the election is tomorrow. You're all probably not going to vote your consciences, and you're going to vote your prejudices, but that's the way Americans vote anyhow. And on that note, I want to thank Johnny, Diamond Jim Brawl, our producer for tonight. Aaron, we're going to remember that Aaron has his open house. And in the next 6 weeks, he will be handing out flyers sometime. Anyhow, you will, right?
Yes, you got him right there.
There we go. We're going to manage to send them to you over the airwaves. I wish I knew we could have taken a picture and showed it up on the YouTube. We have that capability. We do have some technology. I want to thank everybody who came here tonight to make this such a wonderful evening at the LA School of Comedy. And thank you.